bit early today. It's because we're going to be working on... clicked on the wrong thing. Misclick. We're going to be working on this. YouTuber stuff. Oh, baby. And so this is what I have right now. And actually, let me check one thing. In debug builds... Oh, is this going to loop endlessly, by the way? Okay, cool. Okay, so in debug builds, Springbone still works. That's nice. Anyways, that's not what we're here for. Although it is interesting to see what exactly we are loading in right now. So I'm working on a rewrite of the UI system with a kind of a fancy UI idea, we'll call it. And so the idea, right, is that I use XML files to generate the entire kind of just UI, right? So that, because that's actually how the UI worked before, but just in GD script. So I had a GD script thingy. Let me see if I can find it. So on the master branch, GUI, and then yes, the base view. Base view just had a function called creates element. Give me one sec. Give me one sec. Let me see. Hold on. This is peak content. I'm just here on my other stream monitor trying to do something really quick. Wow. Anyways, we're going to ignore that. So here's what we're at, is I have the XML parser. It's working. So you can configure it like so. And the folder structure just looks like, yeah, so I'll have to ship a resources and then like a GUI folder along with everything, and I'm probably going to do the same thing with translations. And translations is just a JSON, so that's fine. So we can let's actually do that right now. Move translations to resources. I think that makes sense, right? Oh baby, we're getting into big boy app hours out here. Yeah, so you have a folder, resources GUI, and inside a resources GUI, you'll have several things. One, you'll have a metadata.xml file, which is this one, which just defines, one, the order of all your things, right? So right now, these are all hard-coded buttons. However, it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be hard-coded. There's no reason why, since all the views are dynamically generated anyways, right? And so here, I'm kind of modeling this view right here, which is the bone list, mapped bones, it's a list, boom, 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 right? And then we'll have several buttons that do stuff. And then we'll just have to have events, aka signals. You know what? Let's not call it event, let's call it a signal. Well, no, we're going to call it events, right? Just so we don't run into parsing problems with Godot. And also, this makes it more portable to C# if we ever decide to go to C#. But this is the general plan, and I'm trying to follow whatever I laid out here, way up here. So we have our model data, and model data there's not too much stuff. What I'm probably gonna do, I need to have some sort of like data mapping for like your model data, right? So gonna have to think about how to do that. You know what? Right. So the idea here is that in this kind of data field, you'll have this is like your data bind if you're familiar with Angular. Or I guess that's not Angular, it's Knockout.js. One of the first JavaScript frameworks I learned. So this is your data bind. And so there must be a variable called mappedBones in model.gd, along with signals, move model, rotate model, zoom model. So they all need to just correspond to this file here. And actually, I'm realizing that I made a mistake somewhere. Oh, you know what? We can do this. It makes it easy. Class name. Base view. Easy. No ready. There's just the one. Yeah. So all files that ship in your GUI.whatever folder, your resources GUI folder, they must what do you call it? They must inherit from base view so that you have access to these two things, left, right, and then I suppose floating is going to be another value I'm going to just add in. So you don't have to use both left and right, but you do have access to them, which I think makes it easier for the user to just use. But then also having a floating container might be nice. Not sure how you would do that though if you had multiple floating containers. Maybe just the one floating container. Well, I'll have to think about it. So I was thinking like, this is roughly the design I had before, except, you know, I'm moving the script to somewhere else that will attach to the node afterwards, right? We can do this. Extends, base view. It doesn't really matter. It's fairly easy. You know what? That might make it somewhat hard to well, if you're a user, you probably won't even have the editor anyways. So that's fine. Oh no, that's tough. That's tough. Is that actually what I want to do? Is kind of depend on an editor file? Let me think about that. Is there a way to do this, like separate out the logic so that only this file here, the GUI.gd, needs to know about the containers? You know what? I can just store, I can just store the values for these containers, right? Left and right. I can just store those. Now we're thinking. Now we're thinking. And then I just instance these in. Yeah. Let's do that. So let's save branch as seen. This is just left container. Call it, let's rename it really quick so it's not as completely confusing. Right container. So left container, right container. Then we will save branch as seen. We'll go to rapidly approaching just folder hell, but that's fine for now. This is left container. Save right container, also pretty easy. Save branch as seen, right container. And then we can take these out. Base view doesn't have this. Actually, there is no more base view script. Thus it has been decided. These are just UI elements. Actually, since base view doesn't have anything on it, well, the only thing base view has on it is the theme. So you know what? That makes sense. We'll keep base view. The only thing base view does is it maintains the theme. Right. Okay. So that's your base view. Let's grab the left container and right container. So copy path. So const left. Yep, that's not how you do it. Left container. Some sort of resource, and we'll preload it. Let's grab the right container as well. Const right container. Preload. Oh, just like that. So you have your file parser, easy, base view. All base view does is hold the theme. Then you have your left container, right container, and let's also think about how I want to do a floating container. So let's instead of thinking about it, let's just Google it. Godot draggable container, draggable control. UI, drag and drop, draggable GUI, Windows tutorial. Is there a source? Minimal. So this is 2016. That's not great. Hey. This is like Godot 2.0 or 2x. That's crazy. Dropbox link. Draggable. How to drag Windows. Perhaps. I've been pinged on Discord. Let me check on my other computer really quick. Let me see. I'm getting a message asking for information about this. Okay, so I need to check my custom Godot fork, which just has a few pull requests. This is not it. That's my full name, by the way, if you are interested. Jump to this. What are my precompiled builds for? Okay. Classic me. There we go, 332. Very good. Okay, so back to draggable windows. I'm interested. Drag points, title bar. I wonder how you would do a title bar. So given a control, like takes up the entire layout, right? Anchors, yeah, that looks right. So this is, we'll call it floating container. Go to screens, a GUI, and then there's, you know, left container, right container, floating container. Okay. So left and right container. What are these, by the way? These are actually panel things. Okay. So I need to change this. Change type to a panel container. Okay, so there's a few things that you need. You know, this might actually need to be an HBox container. No, a VBox container, which consists of just 2 panel containers. So, boom, boom, boom. So this is, we'll call this title bar. And then this is, I guess just content container. Beautiful. Set this to be expand. And then these will just be as big as they need to be. Theme overrides. I think this is separation should be 0 for this, right? So you have no space in between. Theme overrides panel. I don't know if I want to do that. Maybe I do. Whatever, there's floating container. We'll worry about it once we need to worry about it. The theme is already preset, or AKA, as long as I use base view, this main theme here will propagate down to all the children. So as long as I, you know, pass all these containers down to the appropriate stuff, we should be fine. So const floating container. Resource preload. There we go. Bum bum bum. Let's add. See, these are tag names. So we have left, right. Probably floating is also a good one. Floating. Float. Yeah. Floating. There we go. So these are all containers. Well, I'm gonna space them out just so it's obvious. So model will have a left container and a right container. However, I think if you wanted to, you could change those to be floating, right? And then everything in between those tags would be a floating container. But let's just think in terms of what we had before we start to get too fancy with it, right? So inside of our GUI thing, so we just have the GUI file parser. It's just the file parser, and it just gives you data back. And so the idea is that we will construct each view on the fly, more or less. So let's do I wonder, can you do add child when it's still not in this scene? I think you can do add child, but let's do var left container. We'll do left is equal to left container dot instance. Var right is equal to right container instance. Var floating. Well, actually, we can just have these exist in the void. It doesn't matter. What does matter is these tags can only exist once in each thing. Otherwise, I think I'll just throw an error. I think that would make sense. Just fail as fast as possible. Like, this is a bad UI file. Do not use it. And stop execution immediately. Alright, so if not, data is empty. Right, and the GUI, yeah, that's it. So this is the data that we're working with, not this. This is the data that we're working with. This is the tag name, and this is the associated tag values. Each tag does not contain any text, unlike an XML, which generally does contain text in between each tag. There's no reason for me to do that here. So, we're not going to do it. Instead, we're just going to do... I think it's just easier to do something like this. So there's name, data, I think events. Scripts is less often used, so we'll ignore that. I think value is also a good one, which is just a direct value to be set. If you want to override the defaults for any reason, I think that might make sense. And then we'll initialize these empty variables, and then we'll just do a null check on all of them, right? So. Yeah. These are the possible containers. Yes. So if not, data is empty, then we'll do var, well, no. We have access to this though. I'm gonna drag this over here just so I can look at it. Since this is the order that we're parsing it is. So we parse it in top-down order. So there's no hoisting, it's just in this order. Top-down, except for left and right, which are, those are obvious, right? And floating. So everything needs to be within one of these tags, left, right, or floating. Floating is not on screen right now, but you know how it goes. Responding to a Discord thing. There we go. So we have the name of the tag. So we should probably do a match on the tag, right? So match data node name, and then we'll do XML constant. So if it's left, do a thing. And then we also have close tags for all of these, right? Right? No? No? Hey. Am I crazy? Wait a minute, these look the same, right? So, in the file that we just loaded, we have the view, right? That matches up here. View, list. Yes, this is a list with this data. Then it goes to right. Toggle. What? Loading GUI file. Model. Oh, loaded it twice? And also didn't print out any debug information. Actually, that's wrong. So hold on. Give me 1 sec. That's not right. Data is empty. Well, I'm trying to think. Like, do I want to listen for an end tag, or do I just want to assume? Is close tag. Like, I don't think I need is close tag. So I'm basically writing another parser, by the way. I've written a few parsers before. Except this parser, there's like a file parser, and then this is just the other parser. But we need to have it here for so it's easy to move the nodes between each other, or I guess centralize all the node movements. Var current open node. Yes. Well, I don't know. One, it did load it twice, which is weird. So metadata. Let me add let me debug this one really quick. This is an easy. This is a quick win, as they say in the biz. XML files to parse. Let's take a look. Just have a bunch of errors pop up. That's always good. Beautiful. So then we have model.xml and model.xml. That's good. So why did it load it twice? So if not, data is empty. You know what? It's probably this. Does this use is close tag anywhere? Let's take this out. Is close tag. Let's not even use this. I don't think I'm gonna use is close tag. I think that's a bit too much. Let's add a note just for myself using a match so we can check for other node types in the future. Beautiful. Here we go. I don't think this will make a huge difference, but let's check. Object DB leaked instances, that's good. Alright, so on my other screen here, we can see double model.xml. We leaked instances. Very good. GUI file. Oh, you know what? It's because this. We're creating an instance, but we don't dispose of it. How unfortunate. Should probably stop doing that. So if, while true, if data is empty, well, if not data is empty and data.node name is like a file, and then if not invalid, this is fine. Boom, we add this. If data is complete. I don't know. That's weird. That's weird. Print data. Dot data. So just print that dictionary and we'll see where that gets us. I'm interested. I'm looking here. Yeah, that's weird. I don't really know. Huh. It's double counting them. And I have no idea why. So we should not be double counting files. I know I can just do like a duplicate check, but I don't think that's a good solution. Let me see. Data metadata.parser.readNode. Get node type. Let's add a print. Get node type, so I can see what's actually going on. Oh geez. Oh, it hates it. Oh, there's so many errors. On the monitor on my other, the monitor on my other monitor. What a beautiful sentence. Interesting. 0, 1, 1. So it is picking up two instances of a... Huh. That's weird, right? So 0 is empty. Makes sense. So we go take a look here in XML. Okay, where is it? XML. I think it's just XML parser. This is what we're working with, which is node none and then node elements. You can see here that we, the first one, 0, very good. The next one, 1, node element, 1, node element once again. And then it completes itself. What if I think I can just filter out. Yeah, I think I can just filter out the thing. I'm not sure what's happening there though. It's bizarre. Because we only read it once, right? So we load in the file, the default metadata. We just do it once. And let me verify that we're actually only doing it once. So wait for it. It takes a little bit. Oh baby. So there's only one GUI handler. Very good. With a button bar on it. Yeah, so we're only doing it once. I don't really know what's going on with that. I think we'll have to filter out the last field. What if we do this? So we have our base path, and we can also do var last. That doesn't work though. Alright? Because see here, we have GUI model, and then this doesn't hit it twice, right? We don't have double views. It's only in this metadata.xml that we're double counting for some reason. I'm not sure why though. Does it just hate that I'm doing it like this? Do you want me to do it like this? Would that be more pleasing to your eyes? Wait for it. It takes a little bit to load the model. Oh my god. That is it. It's interesting. So, just having a single closed tag, or I guess a single self-contained tag, I suppose, in your XML, single self-contained node in your XML causes a double count for some reason. I feel like that's a bug. But then if you do an open tag and then the closed tag, and it's still the only tag that you have, I keep calling it a tag, it's called a node, but I'm gonna call it a tag. If you do it this way, it single counts it. It counts it correctly. If you only have the one self-contained node that's closed, it double counts it. Which is interesting. Not sure what's going on with that, but see here, this is counted right. And you know what I think I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna count any closed tags. That sounds hard. Instead, what we're just gonna do is we're just gonna look for left, right, or floating every single time. It's a bit easier. So, if not data is empty, then we'll do XML. We'll check for pretty much all of these. So this is just parser work. It's a giant mash. It doesn't matter how long it takes to start up, honestly. So this is all the stuff that we are working with. Exciting stuff. Hey. What am I looking for? I'm trying to move this over here, but I'm super mind flooded for whatever reason. Now I've just moved it on top of my OBS instance, and now I can't find it anymore. Alright, so don't need to look at this anymore. I know this is correct. Now we're looking at if it's left. If left, then we want to do an app manager log message invalid data for whatever this is, which is XML file. And so also try to call my attention to it whenever we're doing developments, but then this will just be a hard return. Wait, no. Wait, yes. Yeah. So if left, then we'll hard return. Otherwise, we'll just do left is equal to left container dot instance. Easy. And it's pretty much the same story for right and floating as well. So we'll do if right, then we'll do invalid data for whatever. Otherwise, we'll do right is equal to right container instance. And then if floating, then blah, 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 return. I forgot to put in the return for right. And then we'll do if floating. If floating, return early. Otherwise, floating is equal to a new floating container dot instance. There we go. And then otherwise, default. I think what we can do is have a private function here. Well, yeah. Let's just have the mega function. I like a good mega function. It's probably more than the next person, but to an unreasonable amount. Actually kind of like mega functions. Don't know why. So if it's a list, do a thing. If it's an XML constant toggle, then do a thing. Right? And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab all of these datas on my monitoring thingy. Let's grab it. Loading UV file. Boom. Drag this back over here. I'm going to throw this into Notepad just so I can look at it. So this is the render output for model XML, which is a view with this data so we know which script to find, which script to load in, and then attach to this, the base view in Godot, right? Then we have left tag, some sort of open list. So we'll create, you know, a list of things. And then we have, so this is just a generic list, a list that contains other lists, or a list that contains other objects. And then this list inside of that list will be all of this stuff, right? Well, I'm thinking about it, that's not actually how this works, right? This is actually not how this works. So if you have more than, you know, whatever's available on screen, right? This is just one mega list. That's what I'm trying to say. This is just a mega list. It's not lists inside of lists, because I don't think those play well with Godot. Because it's hard to properly resize things inside of a list, if that makes sense. So probably shouldn't do that. I think I should just have these be a list by themselves. They're automatically a list, and then the list doesn't actually refer to a list. trying to think of a good way of doing the syntax for this. Yeah, what if this isn't actually a list? What if this is just like, this is a data point that is more or less just like a header plus a bunch of values under it. It's not actually like a scrollable list, because these containers are already scrollable. So we can assume scrollable. This is just heading plus data with individual data points under it. Right. So mapped bones. So that's toggle. And then what do we want for? I need some way to define. This stuff here. So this is just what did I call it here? I'm looking at my own code. I'm not copying. I wrote this. We called this generate bone list. This is a checkbox label. Checkbox label. Okay, so what if we do I guess something similar, right? So we just do like type. So lists can have a type. So this maps to a data, and then we have type, which is like checkbox, type, checkbox, label. I think that makes sense. We're getting into like programming language syntax territory. But that's a list of type name. This is the display name. This is the data mapping. This is the type of all the list sub-objects. Yeah. So then we'll need to have attribute names. There's value. There's also type, which corresponds to type. These don't really need to have anything. Like toggles are pretty commonplace. I think the checkbox. You know what? Let's just do checkbox. So actually, some of these are just like checkbox, right? I very rarely have just a button by itself. Like these are the only things. Like these are just mega buttons by themselves, but we can change that. We can change that. Or we can have just like a custom thing, right? Because I actually don't really use buttons by themselves very often. Yeah, like this is like custom props, and then add. We'll think about it. But you can think of it like checkbox is also a type of tag name, right? So we'll add checkbox, which is a checkbox, right? And then we'll have input as well, which will map to our existing input fields, right? So we have here, right? In model, we have many types of input fields, some checkboxes, but mostly just input fields. So this is checkbox. These are also checkbox. These are toggles. These are toggles. And then this is like a custom button. So I'm gonna need to think about what I'm gonna do about that. That's a bit tough. I know how it works. I just need to think about how to implement it well. And then these are just crazy. We won't talk about that. We won't talk about that just yet. Maybe we'll start talking about it later. I do know that in this custom build right now that the presets are pretty solid, so I'm not gonna mess with them too much. Are we crashing? We're not crashing just yet. What else do I have? It's input. It's just like button, big button, Buton. So button. How did I define these? I think these are like minimum size. I want to say that these are minimum size. So there's a minimum size to how big the button is, possibly. Yeah. So you have, so we can do like a style kind of thing, style tag, so that we can go full HTML with this. And if you think about it, XML does look a lot like HTML. I don't know what XML stands for. HTML is Hypertext Markup Language. XML is like X markup language. That's fine. These are the big ones that we need. Oh, and also label. Label's a good one. Label. Right. So we can have an implicit label. I think it's good to have. I think it's fine to have an implicit label for lists. For these values, it doesn't make as much sense to do an implicit label. But also, I'm restructuring this. Just by the way, I'm gonna move this over here so I can look at it. So we have a few buttons. So this button will be called button name, reset, model, transform. Everything is just on all uppercase. I don't know why. Button name, event, reset, model, transform, self-contained, and then this button, which is name. That's not how you do it. Reset model pose. Reset model pose. Event reset model pose. Look at that. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good, I think. We can add a label to this, right? So we do label name, and it'll be. We can always think of name as just being like the display name. And then we'll auto-generate a node name for it. Probably just be the same thing, just with no spaces. Model controls. And that's it. More or less, label is very simple. Just has a name. It doesn't make sense to add a data bind to a label. These don't even have data binds, right? Toggles, no data binds. Button, also generally no data bind. I think the only data bind would be, you know, should this be enabled or not, right? Oh, you know, we also need a load model button and a set as default button on the model stuff. I think that makes sense. Yeah, no, what did I do? So load model and then set as default. You know what? Let's change the name so it's... These aren't titles, these are just sentences. Model. I've redecided. After looking at it one more time, let's not do title. let's not do title case. Let's just do regular sentence casing for everything. Alright, so then we'll have a button with name. What do we want to call it? This is a load model. Load model, event, load model. So this will correspond to some sort of signal inside of the model script. Button Set model as default. We'll call this event, you guessed it, set model as a default. There we go. I think the important part is also remembering to add all of these things to the model script. And so let's do that really quick, since this is pretty much everything that I want to have inside of the model script, besides like probably adding model information if it exists. Hard to say, honestly. We'll do, let's see, signal mapped bones. I wonder, is it possible to iterate through a script and grab all of the signals as well? Actually, we don't, this isn't even one of the signals. Hold on. Load model. Signal, load model. Signal, set model as default. Signal, let's see, move model. Move. Look at that muscle memory. Instead of writing model, I did movement. Oh, hello, Thomas. How are you doing today? Signal zoom model. Oh my god, these are just all signals. Yeah, what I'm doing right now is I am actually redoing the UI system for this application right here, which you can view the current state of if you go to OpenCFace GD, and then just take a look inside of the GUI folder, screens GUI, and then just look inside of any one of these folders. That's not elements. Elements are just UI elements. But what we're doing is, instead of like having constructors inside of each GD script file, instead I'm just gonna move the constructors more or less to here. I'm doing good, thanks. You? I'm doing alright. Doing alright. Can't complain. A little cranky today, because, you know, neighbors were being absolute degenerates, playing club music up until like 2 a.m. yesterday. So I had to go talk to them. It was very awkward. Which is bizarre, because one, they've been very quiet up until now, and two, it's 2 a.m. on a Tuesday, so don't really know what's up with that. And also not sure how they can afford to live in this building if they are, I guess, that degenerate, but I don't know. It's none of my business, for sure. But yeah, here you can kind of see the kind of idea that I'm going with. So I'm using Godot's XML parser, and I've wrapped it so it just kind of works. It also handles file path resolution for you depending on the build. So in debug builds, we'll just use, you know, the resource path, the resources.gui or /GUI. Whereas in a release build, I'll have to just ship this directory along with the binary. So it's another file to keep track of, but there's already 2 files to keep track of anyways in all release builds, so it doesn't matter. Actually, there's 3 files. More than 3 files to keep track of in every single release build. So just adding one more that also allows for user configurability, right? Because with this kind of schema, I'm pretty sure this is I'm actually pretty sure that this is invalid XML schema, but because you're supposed to have like an opening XML tag at the very start, but I've omitted that. But here, this means that we dynamically generate every single UI, which is also what we were currently doing anyways, so. But now it's not hard-coded. Even though that's generally a good thing for UIs. Now, the user can just reorder them if they want to. Move things around as long as you move around the correct stuff. Oh, hello. Work phone. Very good. Oh, and don't mind that. Just random ban. It's a bot. It kind of popped into my head because I saw my activity feed. It was, oh, this person followed and unfollowed yesterday. And I've actually seen them on a lot of streams following and unfollowing other streamers as well. I'm pretty sure they're a bot. Yeah. Anyways. We're going through this. Trying to just... I've written a parser before because I have written, as mentioned before, a programming language before. That was implemented in GDScript, so it's not too much of a... It's not that impressive, but... I am familiar with the idea of writing a parser. Not very good at it, mind you, but this will work, right? Since this is a one-time cost, whenever you start the application, I guess? I'm still had to think about how to do that. Is it whenever you do I reload your GUI whenever you load in a new model? Or do I keep the same GUI and then just refresh all the data inside of it? Another thing about that. XML constants, Buton, pass. Yeah, so this is ugly, but don't mind that. I wonder if it's actually better to do a second match. Right, since these are all their same thing. You know what? I'm gonna grab all these. So now we have our kind of fall through. So you can see here that in our schema, we have several things. We have left and right, which corresponds to the left container and right container here. And then I've also added supports or just like a stub for a floating container. So if you decide that you just don't want the right container, you can just change this XML node to be floating. And then voila, you'll have a draggable container. I don't know why you would want to do that, but I like the idea of it. And yeah, let's do this. Do func to generate UI element. And so this will be node name. Yeah, node name. Some sort of string. And I'll give you back something of type control. So var result. Just return result. And then hope the linter doesn't freak out, as it is wont to do. I know how Godot do be sometimes. Especially with the external editor support. Not the greatest. Let me get rid of this UI real quick. So there's our result, and then we'll do some sort of match. So we'll do match on node name. Copy and paste all of these into here. So there we go. Here's all the things that we will support. We have a label, a list, a toggle, a checkbox, input, and button. And so then we'll just, create the appropriate stuff for everything. So, let me see. This needs to be a panel container. Full rect. We'll call it, this is like base element, and then this is how we will generate elements. think that makes sense. So this is base element. Amazing. Phenomenal. And then from this, we can start branching off. So this is going to be label. Label. What do I want to call it? I can't just call it label since that's actually what the built-in is called. Like dynamic label prefab, label element. Phenomenal. How is he so good at naming? So we'll add a label inside of it. Don't have to worry about the theme because I mean, that's all taken care of by this thing right here, base view. So the base view, as long as I generate each, view, and so each XML file corresponds to a view, as you can see there, then we'll use a base view. That base view has a pre-built theme on it, which will then propagate all kinds of UI stuff down to the UI stuff, whatever is inside, basically, which is nice. So let's start just writing out the scripting stuff. So this is our base elements. Let's see. I think really the only function we need for base element is a get value thing, right? So we'll do func get value. We'll duck type it, so we just won't have a return value. I generally dislike doing things like this, but don't have an option. So we'll do get value, and then we'll return null, and also hit it with an app manager log message, something name dot get value not implemented. Then we'll do self name cool label elements. We'll do inherit. Let's add a class name to this. Class name base element, so it's easier to inherit from. Base element, very nice. Creates. You have your label, has some text on it. We don't care. Then func get value. I did like this design choice. So just get every single element has a get value parameter, which is neat. On ready var label, some sort of label, and then we'll just grab the label. Wow. And yeah, I think that's good, right? Var label text is equal to some sort of string, and we won't set it to anything, and then we'll do label.text is equal to label text. There's still not really a good way of doing this, right? Because you can't set this label until it's ready, and it can't be ready until you add it to the scene tree. So I have to actually do this kind of deferred, label text. You could just wait for, add the element, wait for it to be ready, and then set the label text, but I think there's going to be a lot of elements, so I think that's going to be very slow. I'm trying to avoid doing that. Alright, so get value is going to return label.text, not label text, since, I don't know, that seems kind of weird. seems kind of weird. Like this just feels like the initial value. This is the current value. I don't want to, you know, pigeonhole myself into assuming that label text will always be the current value. The only safe assumption I can make here is that this will be, you know, initial value, and then this will be current value. That's a safe assumption to make. 19. Hold on. Cool. Just getting my time tracking in order as well. I've already actually worked on this kind of rewrite for 2 hours today. Because I'm actually off work today, which is nice. Luckily. Don't tell my neighbors that. I acted really offended, so hopefully they won't bother me anymore. So let's see. So that's label element. Nothing else you really need to do. And then because of how I'm structuring, you know, model.gd, right? This is the thing that's not actually loaded in. We don't pre-compile this, I guess. We actually load this in at runtime. So we load it in and then we can start accessing stuff. Of course, it is kind of like a blind access. You know, we're in full scripting territory here. Which can be scary. It can be scary. Let's do this. Base element. What else do we need? It was list. So a list is not actually a real element. It's just a label plus some sort of list type. Let me see. So there's some sort of data. Let's see, data, some sort of dictionary. And we'll just always pass in a dictionary. We can guarantee that we will. Let's go ahead and stub this out. Generate UI elements, data, node name, and then data. It's the data's data, if you will. Right, and so this is, this can actually be called like a static function, right? Because it doesn't depend on anything, and we're calling it static, so I don't accidentally try to use any of the existing stuff. All we're using are some of the constants. I don't think that's going to be a problem, since we're using these as constants. Var UI. We'll just call this element, right? So some sort of UI element of type control is equal to generate a UI element. That's sufficiently stubbed out, and you kind of get the kind of feel of what kind of flow we're going for. So elements will do. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. So how do I know which current thing that we're on? So left, right, floating. I think I do need to have some sort of, you know, current thing here. So current is equal to left. Yeah, current is equal to right, and then current is equal to floating. Yeah. Yeah. I think that makes sense. I think that makes sense. It's hard to say, since I'm kind of an idiot. I feel like this doesn't really make sense. Current view. Let's make this a string, actually. And we can do something like this. So current view will be equal to XML constants left, right? Current view. Yeah, I think that makes more sense, as opposed to just doing like long reference change, which can be hard to debug, right? Because it's always hard to say, like, is this actually what's causing me the error, or is it something else? So match current view. And of course, we're going to go through this again, but that's fine. We'll do left dot call deferred add child, and we'll just do a blind add child or a naive add child, since we always add everything, you know, kind of like in sequence. So let's do add child element, and that's it, right? XML constants, right? We'll do right call deferred. Although, I don't know. I feel like it'd be cleaner if we just did everything via a reference. The only thing I get nervous about is, like, if there is a problem during debugging, it's going to be a huge pain to figure out. And I, you know, speaking from experience, if there is like if there's an easier way, or if there's a longer, more verbose way, but it's, you know, more correct, and it's also not performance critical, whatever you're doing, then I feel like you should use the more verbose terminology. So that's kind of where I'm at in my life. Yeah. So I think this makes sense. The only kind of weird thing about this is the list element, which I'm still trying to figure out. So we'll call it list element. Maybe it'll just be basically like an infinitely scrolling list. Or it won't be an infinitely scrolling list, but it'll just be like a self-contained list. So we'll have a VBox container. Oh no, nah. I'm kind of thinking about it. Oh no. How is this gonna work? How is this gonna work? So you have your list elements, you have your label element. So all these elements are self-contained to their tag. List is one of the more important ones, since I use it in a lot of places. Some places I'm just gonna have to build like my own list, but that's fine. I don't mind. So it's a VBox container, and then I guess I'll just have to pass in like an array of control objects. I wonder if that makes sense. This element. Yeah, we can't actually finish this one yet. I think that's the problem, is that I can't actually finish this one yet. So we'll do an onReady var vbox, right? Which is some sort of vbox container. And guess what? It's a vbox container. Who would have guessed? This one will be element data, some sort of array, right? Like so, and then in the ready function, we'll have to do for element, or for data in element data, you know, do a thing. So we'll also do like a get value. I'm not sure what you would even return. Would it just be like vbox get children? I guess. Yeah, I guess that would make sense. And then these, it would, yeah. Let's construct the next element really quick. So we'll do base element. We'll call this the checkbox element, right? And I guess you can probably guess what's inside of the checkbox element. And haha, I tricked you. It's actually an hbox first, and then a label, and a let me see, a label and a, is it just called the checkbox? Yeah, checkbox. And then we'll have size flags. These are both expand, and then this one will shrink end. So it looks really bad, but I promise you it'll be okay. Don't worry about it. Yeah. It looks really bad. It might be really bad. I don't know. What am I even doing? Rewriting the entire UI system one more time. Okay, so let me see. I think in this we have several types, so you can have checkboxes. I wonder if I should do it like this. So you pass in element data, and then I also pass in just like the elements preset, right? So I pass in the data. Actually, we can call this data, and then this is datum. Yeah, datum is the singular form. Datum, define datum. What is a datum? Data. Data is the plural. Yes, there's a lot of data, but a single piece of data is a datum. A little bit of English trivia for you. English is a very weird language that I happen to be pretty okay at. You know, back in the day, and I say back in the day as if I'm really old or something, but I'm only in my mid-20s. When I was taking my GMATs, I got a near perfect score on my reading and writing sections, and then pretty much just failed the math section. That's why I didn't proceed to higher education. Or I guess higher education. Alright, so we pass you a resource, and we'll just duplicate. We'll give you the resource, right? We'll pass you a resource, and then for datum in data, we'll do. I think we'll also have to do a match on the element type. So, that's a bit tough. So we do element type, make that a string, and then we can match on the string instead of on the element. Yeah, since these elements don't actually have types, since it's all done in GDScript. Ew. So we'll do a match element type is GUI. Oh, this is one that's actually not valid syntax. Is GUI a type in and of itself? It's not. So well, either way, right? These are just like soft-coded values, more or less. So these are type of values. I wonder if it's worth it to expose this as a class. I'm trying to limit myself from doing that as much as possible. No, you know what? For now, we'll just use strings. We'll use strings for now. Oh, that's not how you're supposed to do it. What is this syntax? All right, so checkbox. That's a good one. Oh, check. Can't type. All right, so these are checkboxes. These are toggles. These are also toggles. These are fancy toggles. I'll get to those later. Okay, so yeah, there's pretty much only two, right? So there's checkbox, there's toggle, and then there's, I guess, preset. Right? So we have toggle, checkbox, checkbox. Well, no, this is preset, not preset, which is just a fancy type of toggle, right? Yes. Nice. Oh, don't duplicate that. And then also, of course, since it's in the ready function, we can just have this, which is, not game manager, it'll be app manager. Log message, invalid element type in whatever this is. So it's self.name. Oh, I'm sleepy. Oh. Which is weird since I just took a nap. Let me see. Gotta hate how warm it is, like recently. Let's see, it's roughly still 75 degrees. And humidity is off the chart. Off the charts. Or just off the singular chart. Kind of weird how that word works, right? Or that phrase, that expression works. So for datum in data, the match element type. Well, I think we actually don't need to do that. We can, I can at the very least pull this back out. And then we'll figure, well, no, we do need to have this. Otherwise, we won't know how to generate the element. Yeah, we do need to have this. So this is var. This is elem. Var elem, some sort of control is equal, or some sort of base element is equal to elements dot instance. Right? So we'll instance it. And if it's a checkbox, then we'll have certain types of things that we can assign to it. So on our checkbox element, we have, you guessed it, a checkbox, and then also a label, which corresponds to this right here. Whatever these things here are on the left-hand side. So we'll replace the script. Boom, base element. Oh, that's not the right key. Base element creates. And I kind of want to watch Dread, the movie Dread with D-R-E-D-D, That's a good movie. That's a good movie. I've seen that movie a few times, but just because it's actually like super underrated. Never really hear too many people talk about it. It is a good movie though. IMO. Alright, so get value. So checkbox element will have two things. We'll have a label. So onReady var label is equal to label, and then onReady var a checkbox is equal to checkbox. That's actually not this. This is a label like that. And then we'll return checkbox pressed. Yeah. So it'll return true or false. Easy enough. And then this will be label text, var label text, some sort of string. And then var is checkbox value, which is a bool. Yeah, I think. I feel like these might be sets afterwards. Yeah, I think that's fine. So then we'll do label text is equal to label text, and then checkbox pressed is equal to checkbox value. There we go. So there's our checkbox element. Toggle. So we just did checkbox. We also need to have toggle input and button elements. So let's do that. Base element, this is toggle element. Toggle element, very similar to a checkbox element, will have an hbox container with a label and a some sort of check button. Kind of a weird naming scheme, but they're free to do what they want. We'll do size flags. We'll do expand, shrink, end. We'll do save, toggle elements, slap a script onto there. This is base view. What do you mean? No, not base view, base element, yeah. Base elements, make sure to override and get value so we don't error out. And then we'll do, it's actually more or less the same kind of idea as a checkbox element. So we'll do var onReady var label, some sort of label is equal to label onReady var check. Well, we'll call it toggle, even though it is like the class is actually called check button. I'm not calling it check button. Yeah, so then var label text, some sort of string. Actually, I'm kind of realizing all of these have labels on them. All of these are having labels. You know what? It might be worth it just to put these on base element. So var label text, some sort of string. Then we'll need to go through every single element afterwards. Label text, already defined. Label, already defined. List, doesn't actually need it, but probably should. Toggle, doesn't need it. This just needs toggle value, some sort of bool, we'll call it false for now. Because that's not a value that can be set programmatically, because it doesn't make any sense to set that here. Although you could if you wanted to, right? we'll do label dot text is equal to label text, and then toggle pressed. What is it called? Toggle. What's the thing I'm looking for? Toggle mode. What? A different appearance. It's recommended to use a check button when toggling. It has an immediate effect on something. It's probably actually a good idea. Probably a good idea. Base button. Isn't it called pressed? It is called pressed. Why don't I have access to pressed here? Toggle element. Toggle. Yeah, pressed. Okay, that's weird. Toggle value. And you know what? After reading that, yeah, this probably doesn't make any sense, right? I feel like these should be toggleable, but maybe there should just be like a button at the very bottom, which is like apply, right? We're thinking. It can be tough at times. Do I want to make that a toggle? It might be worth it to make it a toggle. Yeah, you know what? Toggle. I think that it basically means like all of these will turn into toggles, right? Since they take immediate effect. Whereas usually with a checkbox, it's more assumed that you need to press a button. Yeah. After reading that, I'm kind of now reevaluating, like, wasn't I thinking about taking out the checkboxes anyways? Wasn't that part of the plan? And yeah, like you can kind of see here that it's only on this screen that I use checkboxes. Everything else uses a toggle. Oh, well, besides this one, but ignore that. You know what? We're getting rid of checkboxes. I've executed a decision, no more checkboxes. Feels good. Feels good, man. Feels good. Checkbox element, goodbye. Get yeeted. Yeet, no? Yeet. Goodbye, yeah. Get out of here, stinky. We don't want you. Alright, so now we just have toggle and preset. So for list elements, you can have a list element of toggles, or you can have a list elements of presets. And then there's your data. Your data will come, I'm not sure how I'm going to pass the data just yet, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it. It's probably just going to come as a JSON with the required data to construct a toggle element, which is just the label, yeah, pretty much just the label and the signal, right? Yeah, I think that's probably the move. The label and the signal. The bone name will be the signal value, perhaps. I think that's actually how this works, right? So I press tab, go to a bone list. These are actually the, I think when I press apply, if I'm trying to remember how I initially wrote this, I think that's actually how it works, right? So when you press like mapping and then you press apply properties, it actually sends out, actually no, it doesn't. It doesn't send a signal. I remember how it works now. It just has a direct connection to the model. But I'm trying to get away from that, right? It's too much coupling. Classic programmer doesn't want to be a couple. It's a joke. You win. Thank you. You too. How are you, Philippe? Can we both win? that depends on you, big boy. Ooh. No, there can only be one. Let's take this outside. So how are you doing? How are you doing? There's only one. Did I stutter? So that's the element, and then I just have, yeah, it's just input and button. What about you, Nestor? You didn't. Sorry, I didn't mean to intimidate. That's just my standard. That's just my standard cadence, is intimidation. I'm trying to work on it. I'm sorry. I'm doing so I win. I'm not intimidated, I suppose. I mean, if you're trying to, if you want to make everything a contest, I can turn up the intimidation factor if that's what you're asking for. What do we want this to be? I'm getting distracted. Input element. Remember that bad cop duck. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys. Under distraction. You know, I've conducted interviews before, and that is actually one of my more favorite games to play, is Good Cop, Bad Cop. It's a fun time. It's a fun time, to be sure. Alright, yeah, this needs to be just a line edit, and then actually, it should be a label and then line edit. Oh, and then all inside of an H box. So label, line edit. Try to do distraction though. How dare you focus? I'm sorry. I'm trying to maintain some composure here. You know, I actually had today off, so I mean, also thank you for asking how I was. I actually had today off, so not doing too bad. Actually started working on this kind of rework, this entire UI rework, during the day. So wasn't just being unproductive. In fact, I was being productive. I think I actually really like the design that I've come up with here. So if you're doing like a dynamic UI, this might actually be like a really good option. You can be unproductive, sir. Alright, yeah. I'm a little uncomfortable being called sir, but I'm the focus killer. I'm the Joker, baby. Yeah, check this out, right? So I think this design makes a lot of sense. It does require a certain, I guess, code structure. Since it's entirely XML based, and then you just kind of hook everything into like a backing script. Are you uncomfy, sir? Don't you like sir? Sir? I think I prefer being called Sir Duck. I think that would be Please respect my species, please. I'm just messing. No jokes allowed. Serious talk only. But yeah, no. I mean, being called Sir, it makes me feel really old. Although I suppose it is warranted in several situations now. Now that I'm no longer a teenager, it does make sense to call me Sir. Sir Duck. Can Sir Duck be dir? Or directory? Or sick? What does that mean? Sick? Sir Duck is only sometimes sick. Did I tell you? When I got my second dose of the vaccine for the, the COVID-19, don't tell anybody, but I did get the all doses. Got all the microchips, feeling pretty good. That second dose though, was feeling pretty good all throughout the day. And then when I went to sleep, in the next morning at 5 a.m., just woke up, just absolutely dying. You know, woke up, realized I was shaking. Well, woke up because I was shaking so hard. So like I brought in a space heater. Well, I didn't bring out a space heater, but I put on like 3 layers and just tried to go back to sleep because I was so cold. Even though had the thermostat set to pretty much off. Oh, I get the first dose. You know what that means? You're about to die. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you had to hear it like this, but I don't make the rules. The Bill Gates microchip, sir. I suppose that's fair. I don't know. And we all about to die? Well, no, about to. On the cosmic time scale, I think we all are about to die. I think the verbiage is a bit unclear, but I suppose you may have a point. We all are about to die, just at different times. Unless what you're saying right now is that you're right behind me right now in this instance, about to stab me in the back. In which case, it's been good. It's been good talking to you. I may or may not have a point to quantum, a Q point. A Q points. You don't know what the value of the point is. You don't know if you have a point or not have a point until you observe it. Very good. Superposition. Wait. Label text. Actually, this should be line edit. Actually, there is no value for this. This is just a label equals label text is equal. Am I doing the? Oh, this is base element. What am I doing? Curse you. It's the wrong script. Base element. Let me see. Although I think I used to be more educated on, these kind of scholarly kind of things back when I was in school. But now, especially after the pandemic and I haven't been traveling for work, I don't really have the knowledge necessary in order to talk about whatever you're talking about intelligently. I apologize. Is it possible? Oh, maybe, but I think I would need to do a lot more reading. Line edit. Hey, the music is a tiny, small, little bit loud. If you tweak it, don't low it too much. Don't lower it too much. Let me check. Hello. I think it's about as expected. I can compare it to my voice. Compared to my voice that I'm speaking right now, and I'm getting super mind flooded whenever my stream monitor starts catching up to whatever I'm saying. Yeah, I don't know. Have you considered turning down your volume? You don't speak that loud regularly? Sick? Sick is ambiguous. Yo, that's pretty sick though. I think if your nickname is something sick, I think that's a pretty sick nickname. Keep it der. Fair enough. Actually, one of my better friends from high school. I don't talk to them anymore because we had a falling out, which, you know, sounds kind of sounds horrible, but, you know, I was a very strange child in high school, or and before high school. Pretty much never ever that best friend from high school pretty much never ever said my name. They would just say, "Hey, you." And so I kind of just got used to being called whatever, and I would just tell by your tone of voice if you're trying to talk to me. What a strange thing to get used to, though. Is like not responding to your name, just responding to whatever, and then just inferring from the tone of voice that you're talking to me, which might be a problem more on my end, but text. There we go. So there's no ready function for this. There's nothing really to set, right? Since actually there is the line edit, right? So do ready void, and we'll do label text equals label text. I'm gonna call you by name now. Let me guess: Michael, Kevin, Matthew. Well, I don't know. I mean, if you just kind of look into the description, you can kind of find my real name down there. Clay. You know a Clay? I actually know a few Clays. But Clay is like that's a nice southern lad's last name. Do you like how you threw in 2 Bible names? Is Kevin a Bible name? I don't think Kevin's a Bible name, but Michael and Matthew definitely are. Is Michael a Bible name? I think Michael's a Bible name. I know Matthew for sure. Now I get your name. Get it? It's a pun. It's a pun. It also, that actually used to be my oh no, this actually used to be my League of Legends username as well. And so no one ever guessed. They were just like, "You're being really arrogant." I'm like, I might be, but it's also just a pun. So why you have to be mad? It's only a game. So base element, we'll call this is now just a button element. Save this, unattach the script, create a new script based off of base elements. Or duck, it's gonna be Tim. Alright, well, there are some who call me that, yeah. Yeah. You know, I sometimes tell the story as well, but like, for a long while, I used to not know how to say my own name, right? Because you know, full name. I'm gonna release all the neurochemicals from your brain for when someone calls your name. Well, people call me my name now pretty often. People don't usually call me Timothy. You just call me Tim. My parents call me Timmy, because actually my parents are still not able to call me by like my proper name. Like for a long while, I actually did not know how to say my name either, right? Because you know, I'm a first generation. You know, the TH sound in English is actually a pretty uncommon sound to make. So whenever they would say Timothy, they would actually say Timothy. Tim, it's not that hard to say Tim. Well, that's not my, that's the nickname. That's the shortened version that most people call Timothy. They say Tim instead of Timothy, since Timothy is 3 syllables. But a lot of foreigners are not actually able to say Timothy. They say Timothy. Yeah, Timothy, not Timothy. Right? So I was actually in like speech therapy class for a little bit because I was not able to say my actual name, but I could say TH in other words, right? Like it would say like mouth or the. But how do you say the? How do you say mouth? How do you say Timothy? What What's wrong with you? You know. And then they eventually figured it out. It's like, oh wait, his parents have just been mispronouncing his name this entire time. I think I might have a chance to say it properly. Congratulations. It is like a fairly common name, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if you're able to say it properly. Alright, there we go. Now we have all of our elements created. Look at that, it's beautiful. I actually have a tongue fart. I don't I don't like that I don't like that sequence of words. Tongue fart. Please do not tongue farts in chat. That's something you should do on your own time. Let's see. Button text. Dun dun dun. Those are all the. Oh yeah, that's pretty much it, right? And then we'll just have preset element that we'll have to create later. So let's see. Well, given the fact that I'm not a native English speaker, TH can be an achievement to say in Timothy. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, Timothy. Anything with a TH in it, it's pretty hard to say since it's kind of like a lisp. It's very lispy kind of sound to it. So input element. Actually, we don't have any input elements. Wait, what did I define here? List elements. We have preset and toggle. Okay, so there's just these two. Okay, well that's fine. And toggle elements, you only have the toggle value and then the label text. That'd be cool. A tongue fart should be a thing. That's not really what most people will be talking about. They're talking about tongue farts. It's that sounds more sexual than than you think it does. At least in the implication. Pretty gross. So your datum and your data. I'm not gonna tell you what tonguing a fart is, by the way, but you can Google that if you would like. Timothy, you're being a dirty boy. Ooh. Notices your bulge. I'm sorry. I'm not a furry. I just think that the copy pasta is pretty funny. So we'll do elements dot label text is equal to data dot what are we gonna call it? Data dot text datum dot text, because a datum is a piece of data. Are you a brony then? Oh, absolutely not. I've never seen any My Little Pony episode. I know some of the names of the ponies though. There's I know one of them. Is it Twilight Sparkle? What's the name for people involved with rubber ducks? Probably programmers. Get it? Because rubber ducking is a programming thing that people do. Anyways, datum.text. So whenever we grab one of these, oh, puns, haha, lots of puns. Yes, this is what I'm good at. Huh. Oh, it's gonna be tough. This is gonna be tough. I don't really know what to do here. Humor. Hey, you know, I don't. Sometimes I come up with really good jokes, but most of the time I just kind of rely on the sheer volume of jokes. Right. Your puns are pretty good. Oh, thank you. It's okay. You know, you gotta take things pretty loose here. I don't take offense pretty easily, unless you're just consistently being rude. A joke machine gun? I suppose. It's more like a joke waterfall. Less machine gun. I think machine gun implies that it's, these jokes are killer, am I right? Whereas most of these are kind of more of a joke stream. Yes, there we go. How do I want to do this? So we have the data, and this maps to config manager. I'm thinking. Okay, so we have a list, and then we also have the data, and then data dot data, the data, right? Is that what it's called? It's actually called data. It's the data dot. No, it's just the data. Yes. Data is it the data? I don't remember. Data. It's the data. Is it just me, or when you think about Streamlabs, you think of a bunch of scientists near a river? The data. I don't know about scientists. I'm not a science nerd. I'm sorry. I just write programs. I write code. I make it work. So let me see. We need to preload pretty much all of these, right? I'm a computer scientist. Do you also live down near a river? Do you perhaps have a Streamlab? I don't use Streamlabs. I actually use just base OBS. Never had Streamlabs installed. Since I don't think Streamlabs is open source. Let's not be a Streamlab. Hard to say. I'm not familiar. Alright, so if left already exists, then do a thing. Let me see. And at the very end, let's just do this really quick. So we'll add everything to. Oh no. So this is building the views, and then here we need to create buttons. Why is my shift key broken? Create buttons. Stream elements, it's good. I use OBS to stream elements, it's just a thing for browser sources. It sounds complicated. I don't know, I just kind of throw everything up on screen. I'm not ashamed to show it. I'm not ashamed. I probably should be a little bit ashamed of what I have in my browser history, but it's okay. All the weird stuff I keep on the tour anyways. It's mostly just like while I'm working on this program here, which also, by the way, supports anime models. It's part of the problem is that a lot of my browser history is also just like a lot of anime weeb stuff. For multiple reasons, of course. One, I am actually like just a weeb. So information checks out. Sounds complicated, but using stream elements, we had to code his own VTuber and avatar softwares. Yeah, well, you gotta manage the level of your complexity, right? If you make things too complex, well, I think you need to know yourself, and I know myself to be, I guess, mind floodable, right? If you give me too much stuff all at once, I'll get confused, which is why I always try to break down problems into, basically yes or no questions. Because I think at the heart of it, you can break a lot of things down into yes or no questions. The only difficult part is just, you know, finding the yes or no question. Right, which is why that it is, you know, everything is shades of gray, kinda, right? If you are able to break it down into yes or no questions, it's no longer a shade of gray, it's now just yes or no. Right, that's kind of my philosophy on life, I guess. Base view, boom, boom, boom. We'll do base view. Call deferred. Add child. Left. Hey. Oh, okay. Ooh. Yeah, that's kind of my worldview, right? Is do shades of gray exist within choices? Yes, but not always. Those only exist if you're not able to, you know, completely break down the problem, right? Because there's always a lot of unknowns, of course. Sometimes you aren't able to answer a question because you just don't have enough information to make an educated choice. Well, Streamlabs Elements is a website where you can create overlays and others. So when you copy a link and paste this link in an OBS resource called a browser source, and bam, works. I think I've seen that before, but I don't know. I mean, you can just look at my look at this. It's my browser, and I just show you my browser, and then sometimes we'll zoom in all the way. I don't know. I suppose I could just hide some of this stuff. You know, I do have, you know, Bitwarden up here, so I am at risk of completely leaking some passwords, but we won't do that. It's a nice browser. Thank you. Did not write it myself. I would like to thank Google for the browser. Leaks. I don't know, check it out. We have all this stuff. No porn to be found. There is some anime stuff here, but we'll ignore that. Hackers hack. Sounds like they're hacks. Hacky boys. I suppose. I don't know. I'm not worried about it. My passwords are very long, so they're hard for people to guess and also hard for computers to guess. So, I don't. Philippe. Oh, that's just your emote. Oh, we would have known. I didn't. Sick emote. I have emotes of my own. Check this out. Ooh, baby. It's just a duck. Alright, so we add all of these, and then we have... Oh, actually, it's not even base view? Is it base view? While true, base view. Oh, and then we'll add everything to... Oh, then we'll just add this as a child, right? So then we'll just do call... Not here, not this level, this level. So we'll do call deferred add child base view. Something like that. Ducks. Yeah. Heck yeah. I'm in. Yeah. What are we hyped about? Ducks? So, we'll do... So XML files, each XML file defines a view. If these exist, we'll add them to whatever view that we're currently creating. And then we will add it to the, I guess, just this one mega node, which contains all your views. And then, oh, then we should also do something like we have access to the button bar hbox. So then we also need to connect this view to that button so that you can hide and unhide stuff at will, kind of like this. So you click on model, boom, pose, features, and then also it handles the toggling on and off of every other view, right? So let's see. We'll do var button. Don't need to do this. We can just do button.new button.text is equal to XML file dot get file, which gets you the file name, no file extension. Let's add a comment to do connect this to some toggling logic. I'll BRB, and I'll be here, don't worry about it. He's gonna call me by my full name. That's interesting. It's a long name to completely type out every single time, but I respect the hustle. Let's do button text button bar hbox button bar hbox dot call deferred add child. So we just add everything in a row. Seems nice. Let's see if it works. It'll take a little bit. Let's see if we crash. Oh, we crash. Invalidate index checkbox on base dictionary. Oh, that's right. I took out checkboxes. I think it is good to have, but really should not be using them for now, because I think I want everything to be more or less like super responsive. We'll see if we want to add them back in the future. Not sure. We're still considering it. Oh baby, there's the one. Just the 1 mega thing. Also, we had 29 errors. That's good. Let me see what the errors are. Add child. Parameter pchild is empty. What? I'm not sure. And also, I'll be right back as well. I need to put my headphones on once again. Kind of hard to put on. Like, they're actually like pretty high quality, like cheapo headphones. They're some sort of COS. Forget the specific model type. But I like them. They're very, very light, which is good. So I have weak ears. Fatigue easily. Add child. Parameters null. Oh, you know what? It's this part here. So we should do. I suppose we just preload all the elements, right? these are like containers. These are elements, and we'll just preload every single element, I suppose. Let's do it. So we have our button element, some sort of resource, preload. So this is our button element. Const input element, some sort of a resource, preload. We'll call this input element. Const label element, some sort of a resource. How did you know? This is a label. Const list element. So list element is kind of the odd one out here, since it isn't. The list element is actually composed of other elements, whereas everything else is more or less can stand on its own. Let's go all the way down here, and we'll just we'll do this. So result is equal to label elements instance, and then do a bit extra processing. You know how it goes. This is list element instance, and we construct it basically. Toggle element instance result element instance, and then lastly we have result is equal to a button element instance. Nice. And then of course we need to set it to some sort of data. So I think result, so for results dot and also I can guarantee that this will be some sort of base elements, right? And also for this, I can guarantee that this will give me back some sort of base element. So it will actually downcast it again. So then result.label text is equal to data.name. Right? So data name, and that kind of corresponds to not this. Actually, I don't need to look at this anymore. I actually saved this. This corresponds to name. So I only have a few attributes, and I think this is kind of nice because I'm kind of defining the kind of workflow I have access to. So our label will have a name attached to it. So I'll just reuse the name. So the name is just like the display name. And actually, a lot of these elements will have a display name. And then the actual node name will probably just set it equal to the name, but like kind of crunched together. I wonder, isn't there like a string thing to generate a kind of crunched name? I'm pretty sure there is, but let me check. Is it validate node name? I don't know. Removes any characters from the string that are prohibited in node names. Validate node name. So we'll do like a validate node name, and then also we can do a replace, right? We can do a replace all spaces, and then also just validate the node name. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I can guarantee. Actually, instead of trying to guarantee this, what if we just do if data has name, if not data has name, then we'll hit it with an app manager, log message, invalid element data, display it as an error message, and then just return results. Or return base. I don't know, return result, and we'll just return a bunch of errors. That's fine. And otherwise, we can do data dot. I'm actually a little uncomfortable using that syntax. That kind of dot notation for something that's clearly not an object. It's actually a dictionary. I think it is kind of nice, but I just don't like doing it. I just don't like doing it. So data name is equal to data name. And then we'll do replace spaces. Well, hold on. We'll do var display name is equal to data name, right? And then we have node name is equal to display. Hold on. This is a string. A sting or string display name. And then we'll do replace spaces with nothing. And then we'll also chain together what was it called? It's like as or validate node name. Validate node name. Like so. Can you not do this? Hello? Node name already defined in scope at line 138. Oh, that's true. Let me see. Element name. Well, this is more of like a tag name. So let's do tag. XML tag. It's actually an XML node, but let's not dwell on things too hard. So result label dot text, result label text. Don't all of these everything besides list element has a title, but even then a list element also has a title, right? Yeah, a list element will also just have a title. So we can do, let me see. Let's get your script. So for datum and data, yeah, but then also we'll do just like the first label. It's just a label that exists. Phenomenal. So we'll do on ready var label equals label. So there's our label. We'll do label dot text is equal to label text, and that's kind of your label title. Yeah, and of course, since we don't know what kind of element it's going to be, we can't actually assign it to it immediately. So that's why we kind of have to have this repeat every single time. It's a bit unfortunate. Yeah, so we can't set the label text outside of here, so we actually have to repeat it every single time. Yeah, because it doesn't exist yet. So we can, of course, process it beforehand, but... Oh, and also just like the node name itself. Result.name is equal to node name. So there's two things are constant. I could wrap it in another static function, but I'm not going to. Let's see, let's just have this like app manager log message invalid, or I guess unhandled tag name. There we go. And so what kind of setup do we need to do? So this is label elements. Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's actually it for label elements. Toggle element. That's more or less correct as well, right? So then we just need to return toggle.pressed. That's good. Then you have your input element. Yeah, and then your button element, which just returns, okay. Doesn't really return anything. So actually a lot of these don't need to be, yeah, actually most of these don't even have anything I need to set. Yeah, interesting. Interesting, interesting. So I wonder, is this going to, I wonder if it'll just work. I'm interested to see. I hope it does. Okay. It kind of works. We have like the one giant button. I like it. This doesn't look right. Oh, you know what? It's because it stacked all of the elements on top of each other. Right. Right. So, each container needs to have like a script attached to it that defines, or I guess just handles, like adding stuff to it, right? Yeah. So each container needs to have a VBox container. Yes. So left container, this is pretty easy. VBox container. Sick. Right container also needs to just have a VBox container. Slightly more difficult is floating container, since this has two parts to it. But if you just do VBox container like that, yeah. And let's add scripts to each of them as well. So this is a VBox container, and then we'll grab a reference to this. There's no setup, so let's take out all of this. There's nothing to set up, right? We just add everything to the container. Oh no, actually there is setup. That's tough. That's tough. You know what? We can do. I know what we can do. We can just wait for it. We can wait for the containers to set up, since there's just 3 different types of containers. So 3 frames. Not really a huge deal. Equals VBox container. Left container, almost the same thing. No setup, but it does have an onReady var VBox. VBox container is equal to phenomenal. Then right container. onReady var VBox container. Like so, and that's it, right? These scripts are just here so I can access the container variable like really, really easily without having to guess, right? And then here, let's see. We can do left container instance, and then actually now we can just, we don't even need to do this, right? For each of these, we'll just immediately add it, pretty much. So add child left, and then we'll call we can do a call deferred add child left, and then we'll yield left ready, something like that, and we'll do the same for every one of these. So this is right ready. Of course, there is no ready function, so we're just waiting for it to initialize. so that we can add things directly to the node. Yeah. Oh, and actually on all of these we should have that's tough. Let me see. Floating containers a bit different. What if we just have like an abstract container? I think I might actually do that. So it's some sort of container. We don't really care what type it is. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So we'll do control, abstract, container. Some sort of control, but it doesn't really matter. And it's just a script. And then we'll have var vbox, which is some sort of vbox container. And then that means we have to actually change a few things. To container. And then we'll have to pass in some sort of control. Or some sort of element, right? Some sort of element, which is... it doesn't actually have to be some sort of base element. We can just make it like a control. It doesn't really matter. Look at this. I'll do vbox, call deferred, add child, element, phenomenal. Right, so floating container. Can't do this anymore since now we're wanting to inherit from abstract container. It's a class name. It's more or less like an interface, but let's not worry about it. It's like an interface, except it's pre-implemented, so it's actually an abstract class. But don't worry about it. We'll do vbox is equal to this. We'll get rid of this. So this extends abstract container. How nice. Left container. Same story. Abstract container. Then this needs to change. Func ready. Vbox is equal to should be fine. This will throw an error. That's fine though. Then we'll copy and paste. Actually, I'll just copy and paste this entire thing, right? So right container, boom. Pretty much the same stuff. So now we have here. Here. Call deferred. Is it called add to container? Add to container. Yeah, add to container, add to container, add to container. Well, no, we can do... Well, no. It shouldn't be called deferred. I think we should just call it, right? Oh. Like that, right? And then floating. Yeah, like that. And then that calls call deferred. I think that'll work. Yeah. Let's send it. See how it feels. You never know. Vbox call deferred. Attempt to call function call deferred and base null instance on a null instance. All right. So where exactly did you call it? So left add to container is left not initialized. base, null instance on, and null instance. Left, add to container. What is elements? Elements is already generated, right? Yeah. We did yield until it's ready. And then, of course, I can guarantee that these will not be null anyways, since I am just parsing XML like top to bottom. So I guess if you don't have an element, it'll just break, which is fine. Or I guess if you don't have an element, nothing will happen, which is also good. Attempt to call function call deferred in base null instance on a null instance. That's weird. So they are real instances. I know that for sure. Call deferred, null instance on a null instance. So, oh, the VBox is a null instance. Wait. But what? I did wait for it to, I waited for it to be ready, right? All right, wait. Okay, I need to stop closing it. All right, error out. Give me an error. Then we'll look at this. So this is our left container. We already added it. Add to container. Class name abstract container. Left container, abstract container. Or right container. Well, actually, we're still just working with the left container. So the ready function is the VBox container. So what's happening here? What's happening here? Right? Because the idea is that I've already waited for it. I've already built in a yield until it's ready. What if I do just add child left? And then this should start giving me an error on a right container, since I also have a right container. At least that's the hope. Oh, no, that's a bit weird. That's a bit weird. Node not found, VBox relative to node. Where? This is in your left container. That's weird. That's weird. And then it just didn't create a right container, I guess. Alright, you know what? You know what? We're just gonna do... Left container. What? Okay, so no more of this abstract container BS. Panel container. Right container. Oop. Panel container. And then floating container. No more of this. Okay. So, what if we just do, so we call deferred, we wait for it to be ready, and then we do left VBox, call deferred, and child. So we just call it directly. We don't even need to wrap it. So this is right VBox, and then this will be floating VBox. I'm pretty sure this will always be right. Come on. Come on. Yeah, let's go. He's done it. I don't know what the difference was, but it totally worked. Can't click on it though, which is neat. Cannot click on it, and also It didn't propagate, which is weird. So these should have propagated from the parent theme, right? So if we go to, oh, you know what? They didn't. Left container does not. Don't these inherit from base view, or am I crazy? Am I crazy? I might be crazy. Huh? The right container inherits from... No, it does not inherit from anything, huh? Alright, then why do I have base view? I don't know. Theme, let's just load in a theme, I guess, and then we'll just do this manually since there's only 3 of them. Whatever. It's easier this way. That's what I'm gonna tell myself. So left container, we'll open it up. Theme, load in the style. Look at that, it's beautiful. Let's see how it looks. It should give me something dark, and the buttons should be themed appropriately as well. Yeah, look at that. Kind of ugly, but so it goes. So it goes. There is something in the way that's preventing me from clicking on stuff, though. So let me see what that is. So it's wait, what? Model.xml. What? What is this? What is this? What is this actually? What is this? What? What is this last node, by the way? Model XML. It just kind of slapped it onto there. Oh, you know what? That's my base view. That's my base view. That's what I need to do. And then this should be base view. So each, yeah, oh, that's where I messed up. I should have done base view, called it for, that's where I messed up. I called it on the wrong object. So I don't want to add it directly to it. So, where does base view, XML file, it should be model, right? Model file, XML file, get file, let me see. So we don't base it off your name. We'll base it off of let me see. Data node name. Let's see, XML constants. View. So if we have the view, then we can just do base. If we have the view node, aka this first node here, then we'll do base view name is equal to data name. Oh, and then also we'll need to add it to do load in the script here as well. So, in theory, not too hard. Base view name. Invalid get index name on base reference. Base view. Hey. What do you mean? Isn't base view? Base view is a. Oh, it doesn't have a name yet. Okay. We'll do called. Well, so we had to do it here. Add child. Base view, and then we need to yield. Base view. ready. That's probably the easiest way to do it. And then we don't do this, since we do need to add them to the base view later, so it's just a lot of yielding until things are ready. So then we can add it to the scene tree, and then we can also access various scene tree related stuff. Actually, that doesn't make any sense, right? We should be able to do it this way. We don't need to do this. So base view, right? Base view is a text scene. So you are able to instance things in like that. No? Invalid get index name on base reference. Base view is an object. It's a control. It's weird. It's weird. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Very possible. What? Please go back. Base view. Oh, we don't want this. 100% no. What we do? Call deferred. Add child. Base view. And then we'll do yield. Base view. Ready. Since we are adding children to it. So I think that should work. Maybe. I don't know. I have very low confidence. Invalid get index name. Huh? What do you mean? What do you mean? Do you want me to just add a script to it so that it is possible to have a name? I don't think that's how it works, but maybe it is, and I'm just stupid. Yeah, I didn't think so. Base view. So we always have a base view, right? So this is the same base view. Doesn't change. Base view. Invalid get index name on base reference. Huh? This is a control. Instance. What? Instance. Let's see. This defaults to what? Oh, isn't this working? This feels like it's right. Am I crazy? The error is that this is not a node. Or this isn't a scene tree node, but it is. Right? You can change the name. And we just wait for this here. We can look here. GUI handler, base view. It's here. It has not left. So that's bizarre. That's bizarre. It's very strange. Very strange. Base view name. So what if we just wait on it? I have no idea what the problem is. Is equal to XML file get file. Wait. I think we can just do this, right? Minus XML file get extension. Something like that. String. Let's see. Oh, does it get base name? Full file. Oh, full file path. returns the file name. I don't know. So do all of this, and then substring it. Well, no, we don't need to substring it, right? We can just do this. And then base view name is equal to base view name substring from 0 to base view name dot length -1, or maybe just -0, or -2. Might be -1, might be -2. And then here, the difference here is that we're going to do, if we ever find this node, set base view name equal to data name, then we'll do base view dot name is equal to base view name. Let's see. I feel like I'm losing my mind here. I am losing my mind here. Oh, that's not how you can do that. That's not how you do that. So XML files have to be, of course, in XML format. So what if I just cheat? Yeah. So yeah, let's just cheat and not do this properly. I think. Or what if we do get file substring 0 XML file get extension +1. Oh, hello. Thank you for the raid, Isaiah by Dia? Oh, hello, Arrow X. Is this your fault? Are you to blame for the raid? I do appreciate it. Welcome one, welcome all. Thank you. So welcome, raiders. What I am working on is this program right here, which is a face tracker written in, or it's not a face tracker, it's a renderer for a face tracker written with Godot. It's open source. You can find the source on my GitHub in my description below under the name OpenCFaceGD. Supports regular 3D models which have a rig, or VRM models, which I can demonstrate here really quickly for all you weebs out there. You might be aware of the newest sensation sweeping the nation. Oh, neck is broken, by the way. One of these. Hello. hey, I might have accidentally spent 4 hours helping Isaiah learn Godot. Hello. I'm sold. I'm glad you were sold on it. No, Axe's back is really hurting from carrying me for the past few hours. Godot. Godot is fun though. Yeah. Oh. And just like that, you have poached one of my viewers. Darn you. Hello, Ethan. What is your question? I'm here to answer. Yeah, but so what I'm doing right now, or what I've been streaming doing, is I'm rewriting the entire UI system. So like the initial UI, everything was hard-coded, very hard to add things. Second version of UI, all the data was stored in each of these, I guess, columns. This current iteration, all the data is stored in these buttons. I'm not sure why I thought that would be a better way of doing things. And then now I've just gone completely back to like a monolithic config architecture, right? And now I'm also doing something kind of funny here where I'm dynamically generating each UI, since I was already doing that, but now it's user configurable, and also it's, you know, I guess a little bit more flexible. Oh. Just make sure to not to use containers. What do you mean containers? I'm using a lot of containers here. Can you help my man build his campground game? Because I watched him for 4 hours build an inventory UI. I built a few UIs in my day. It's great except the UI control nodes. Dude, UI containers, best thing. Containers are the best actually. Can my little guy have a different shirt color? I'm not sure. I actually have not built that in yet, but there are. I also built this this thing in Godot, hooked in with the channel points stuff and also hooked into the Twitch chat. But no, there's currently no way for me to change your your shirt color. Yeah. Containers are terribly weird. I'm sorry. Maybe in the next version. I'll get around to it. I do need to rewrite this one as well, since you can find the source for this as well, Friendly Potato Stream, up on my GitHub. I think it's the only Godot implementation of Twitch chat's channel points rewards, for Godot at least, which is neat because you can do all kinds of physics related stuff pretty easily. Of course I haven't done that yet, but VTuber software and avatars are all made by haven't seen channel points, just seen chat commands. Yeah, well, I actually don't have chat commands implemented. I just have the one command, which is jump. But yeah, I think containers are pretty neat. Containers are pretty neat. I think you just need to learn how to use. Once you learn how to use containers well, they're super sick. Yeah. TweeCIL is a library Joker used to make a bot for me before. Is that JavaScript? Not sure. I start by you telling me you don't want to be a bully. No, that's fine. You'll know when I start getting annoyed. But I think I like to think I have a pretty good tolerance for annoyance, because that is, you know, kind of my day job, consulting, etc. Pretty much just doing, pretty much just a punching bag for the clients, but that's okay since I get paid to do it. And anyways, you know, keep a paper trail. You know, web dev by background, so I have to completely throw away everything I know about UI layout when working Godot. TweeCIL is a Godot library for Twitch, is it? Also, I'm gonna change back to the duck. Hold on, check it out. I think I have presets working. Load it. Hey. The only glitch with this one of the bigger, but not really like a huge problem glitches with this program right now is whenever you change your model, it like gets rid of your kind of your offsets, right? Since the broken neck is actually the raw data from the face tracker, so there's some code in there to like delay and offset recentering, but for some reason it just hasn't been working for a while. It's pretty easy. You just gotta press space to recenter. I should probably ask you. Yeah, I know a little bit of web dev. I'm not great at web dev though, but I think you just need to think about it like this. You don't want to use too many containers. So when you're doing like UI layouts, what I usually do is do this. One, we have a control, then we add a canvas layer, then that's when you start adding all your containers. That's kind of how I usually do things. With this thing, you got any ideas how to add like hand tracking sort of stuff, or would that be possible? Yeah, you know, I actually get that request a decent amount. So it is possible. There is a leap motion Godot. There is a leap motion somewhere. This one, which I think is tagged to leap motion 4. So it won't work on Linux, but I did see that the leap motion version 2 SDK does have C# bindings, so it is technically possible for me to do that. I would just need to get a leap motion controller. I've heard of Leap Motion before. Yeah, so Leap Motion, it's like the little device that you can put on your desk and it tracks your hands. YCL, nested under control. Shouldn't it be the other way around? Well, see, the reason why I like to do a canvas layer under a control is so you can do something like this. And hold on, give me 1 second. So you do something like a panel container. You'll mess with the anchor, and we'll call. Oh no, let's do like a 0.25, right? And then we can do some sort of theming stuff. And I actually learned this from someone in chat as well, and they told me I used to do like a more convoluted way of doing UIs. You can do something like this. Give it a corner. I like corners, and then you can also set the padding. So if you're a web dev, you can think of this like the padding stuff, right? And then you'll add, I don't know, like a VBox, which is your list, unordered list. Probably so other control specifics will control it. Yes, exactly. So you can do something like this, right? If you have multiple panel containers, so let's move this over, we'll call this 0.75, right, 1, right, so then you'll have something like this. Oh, and let's add margin as well. So you have nice spaced containers. And I'm just doing this as an example, by the way, because it's easier to show this visually, right? So then you have something like this. And then if you want to toggle it, you can just toggle. Oh, I'm just a liar. I feel like this used to work, but maybe it didn't. All right, you should probably just ignore me. I don't know what I'm talking about, apparently. Yeah, I feel like I've done that before, but maybe I'm crazy. Yeah, panel containers are actually the best thing ever, by the way. So yeah, I think if you wanted to, the idea there with nesting a canvas layer under the control was that you would just hide the control and then it would also hide the canvas layer, but clearly my memory is incorrect. I can no longer be trusted. Yeah, panel containers, it's just like a margin container, except you get the background stuff for free. That's pretty much it. And then you can do blah blah, whatever. Use for some stuff like item lists. I think I've done something like that before. So check this out. One of these. Is it friendly potato CMS? Check this out. So this is, I don't know, what's even here? Select all CMS. Is there no CMS? I forgot how this works. Oh no, I'm floundering. All right, there we go. Was it Tesla that was hiring people to make UIs with Godot? Yes, it was. Yeah. There was well, it wasn't they were hiring people to make UIs with Godot. It was just mentioned to have Godot experience, which is a slightly different. Anyways, this is a weird database thing I wrote with Godot as well to handle translation stuff. So, I mean, I like the UI layer for Godot, yeah. And there's also, like, you just need to figure out how to work with it. Yeah. How to find when someone was chatting on Reddit about how Godot was not considered viable compared to commercial engines. Yeah. So Tesla wants Godot devs, or at least they mentioned it over like Unity or Unreal, right? Yeah, but check it out. Also did this, so it's just like a built-in REPL made with Godot. So, and I wrote an entire programming language, etc. It's more or less Turing complete. It's a Lisp, so you do like def x is equal to 1, send it, and then you can, you know, just return x. You can do plus x1 will give you 2. You can define functions using lambdas, etc. Yeah, you can find this. This is in my itch.io under GDLisp REPL. So GDLisp is the language. There is just a runner, and then the REPL is just the visual layer. It is pretty ugly, but it's functional. which is good enough for me. I'll make sure it's come with it within this. The more I use it, the more I like it. I'm sure the UI system will grow on me as I understand it. Oh, come from inexperience. Yeah, it's different. It's definitely different. If you're used to web dev, it's definitely a lot different. Because usually in web dev, you try to make it all your containers play nice with each other, or basically all your tags play nice with each other. Whereas in Godot, it's slightly different. I think in Godot, you want to try to avoid super nested containers, right? The way I generally try to approach it is like, if I need to display something on screen, just try to piece it together in different layers. So you have one layer for like these boxes, different layers, and then I guess on each of these layers you can just kind of move it around using the anchors, right? Something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. My favorite part about Godot is probably the fact that you don't even have to use GDScript if you don't want to. You can use C#. I've written a few extensions in Rust. That's on, 2 of them are on my GitHub. So there's one, it's just Pong written in Godot Rust. And the second one is a GIF tool for Godot, so you can capture GIFs from within your game, like directly, so you don't even have to use a screen capture tool. It's just built in. Yeah, I'm used to making reusable pieces, which doesn't seem as doable when working with the UI. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm somewhat building out here. So we load this in. I've kind of defined the entire UI layout using this XML file right here. So have a custom parser, and then just also custom, not this part, custom this. So we generate UI elements. Oh, it broke. That's good. Hold on. What happened? String int. Oh, it's this part here. All right. Hold on. Oh, it's the error. Yeah, I think you should definitely look into using panel containers. That was probably my the biggest turning point for me. Is once I realized how strong panel containers are, everything just became a lot simpler. Because panel containers kind of encapsulate a lot of information that you just kind of need. Is there no name on this piece of data? Hey, is that the problem? Data. Oh, it's data. Okay. So we'll do base view. Name. Ignore this. Alright. I'm assuming you can, but can you set up 9 slice backgrounds with panels? There is the 9 patch node, but I've never used any of those. I guess it'd be part of the theme. Yeah, I'm actually not super strong on using themes. I somewhat understand how to use them. I've mostly been doing most of the theming by hand, but I know there is the 9 patch node, but I'm to be honest, I don't really know how a 9 patch works. Yeah, but check it out. Still missing a lot of input, but that's fine. Model. You know what? It's because of this. Alright, so you can kind of see the similarities here, right? So this is the current version. I'm ripping out of all of this outs and replacing it with an XML-based template system. So we're getting there. So instead of kind of hand coding each UI. I'm now making it configurable via XML, and also just replace the theme with something else. Let's see. It's a bit tough though, because I don't know what I'm doing. This is unexplored territory. I haven't seen anyone else do something like this, because usually you wouldn't want to do something like this in Godot. Most of the time you would want to have like a UI that's already reusable, but you know, I don't follow the rules. Also, I don't know what I'm doing. So if you're familiar with JavaScript framework libraries, or I guess more like if you're familiar with Angular or Knockout, this is almost like the same idea. I guess React also somewhat works like this. So we have several fields. We just wrap all of them. Easy enough. You actually don't need to wrap them, but I'm just wrapping it because it's easier to read. Since I don't actually read the closing tag, I just read the open tags. And so we have a list elements. Should be, yeah, didn't change anything. So this is the display name, and then we can see here, that's the display name. This is the data mapping, and then these are, you know, for the list elements, what kind of elements we should be generating for this mapping. Whereas on the right side, we have all of these things. So we have a button called load model. These are both button elements that I can verify that in the inspector. This is a label, not hoverable, as expected. Move model. Oh, actually, these are wrong. So these should be toggle elements, but they're displaying as buttons as well. So, let me see. Did I not do this right? Button element. Oh, that's why. It's because I copy and pasted and then just forgot to change it. But the hope here is that it's just a lot faster for me to generate these files, and also it's a lot more maintainable. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Now that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. So you have your mapped bones, which corresponds to which bones are currently being tracked. Cannot run the face tracker twice, otherwise I would try to turn it on. Then we have these things here. So if you want to move model, blah, 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 and these are all kind of instant whatevers. They all instantly work. At least that's the idea. They don't actually instantly work right now. And then here in my current UI, you can see that we kind of toggle through all the views. And so I want to build that in as well. So you might be asking, how would you attach a script to a dynamically generated view? And let me tell you, I'm still trying to figure that out. I know it's possible, since I also have written a tool that kind of like, you can think of it as like a C style preprocessor. So it's, you know, you can do like a define and then if def, you know, have this piece of code run, otherwise have this piece of code run. And it's more than just an if statement, it actually modifies the script and then reinserts it into the runtime. So I was thinking I might do something like that, or I'm just trying to do this right now. So we just load in the thing, create a new script object, read in the entirety of this file, spit it back out into the script object, and then attach that script object to the view. I think that'll work. A bit tough though, a bit tough. So let's do var script is some sort of script, right? So script new. Right, and so because it's a script, we can do like, what's it called, source code? Yeah, source code. All right, so we have all of this stuff, right? So we need to do file is equal to some sort of file, new. File, open. How am I generating the path again? I forget. Where do I generate the path? Where do I do this? Default metadata. Oh, it's just in the same path. Okay, cool. So we'll do data. Is it script? Yeah. Oh, and then file read. How do you like using VS Code instead of the Godot editor? So there's plus and minuses to both. I think the biggest plus, the biggest upside to using VS Code is the fact that I can have multiple files open at once. The downside, of course, is that if you are using custom classes in Godot, they will not immediately propagate to VS Code, right? You need to actually go back into Godot, kind of like reload the file, and then go back to editing in VS Code. Otherwise, you'll start getting like really weird linting errors. So if you're not using custom classes, VS Code is probably good enough. If you're using a lot of custom classes, like I'm using a lot of custom classes here, and actually we're not using abstract base. We're not using abstract container anymore. But yeah, I'm using a lot of custom classes, so it's a lot of going back and forth whenever you change something on the custom class. VS Code is my go-to for web dev, but I wasn't sure if things like IntelliSense and whatnot carried over. They do, and actually you can do a lot of things to set it up as your default editor, so that whenever you open a script in Godot, it just pops you over to like VS Code. So you just do like use external editor, and then you just need to, you know, Google the the execution path that a lot of people use. I used to do it, but I think debugging is a lot easier inside of Godot. So that's why I use both at once. Because actually, I don't think the debugger works when you're in VS Code. So, might want to keep that in mind, you know? Oh, and thanks for all the follows, by the way. Always appreciated. Yeah, so I wouldn't recommend setting this to true. I would think I would just keep both open. So, if you're debugging, do it in Godot since it's easier, since everything just pops up on screen. And then for main editing, just use VS Code. So there's a few gotchas, to be sure. So file open. If file open is not okay, then we should do app manager log message. Yeah, but if you think about it, I think a lot of younger developers tend to use, or just developers in general, I should say, recently are using VS Code more and more. It's more like if you are kind of like old school, you would stick to like, oh, I really like Eclipse. I don't need a text editor. Or like, oh, I really like using like code blocks. One of my team leads actually really enjoyed using code blocks when we were doing a lot of Java development. I was like, how did you get code blocks to work on your like client VDI? That's crazy. Yeah, I think VS Code is the new hotness. So everyone's building tools specifically for VS Code, especially since you can also just run VS Code like in the browser, which is super cool. And I think your extension should just work there as well, since it is just Electron. Or failed to open script. It's earned the hype in my opinion. I think it's not bad, which is more than I can say for a lot of editors, for sure. Like, it's not as fully functioned as an IDE, right? So you're not going to get something like a JetBrains writer or PyCharm. Any of the JetBrains tooling, it's not going to be as powerful as that. You're not going to have the debug functionality of like an Eclipse. But on the other hand, like a full-blown IDE is not going to be as flexible as this, right? Like if you just want really fast editing, or you want like a custom extension, like I pretty much just have Toml support. Rainbow brackets is probably my favorite extension of all time, since I have trouble counting brackets. They all look the same to me. So I think that's... Oh shit. Also, telling when you're building, the debug support is top notch. Yeah, I don't really do too much web dev, so I can't speak to that. So that's probably fair. I can tell you that the Java support is kind of bad. Java support kind of bad. It's weird, I do a lot of Golang at work, and we also use VS Code, if only because there's not really another option besides just writing it in Vim. And I've never used the Go debugger, so I don't know. I haven't touched Java in a while. Yeah, I think that's a lot of people. If you can get away from Java, they'll consider that a win. I don't know. I like Java. That might be a hot take. I like Java. Let's see. Java. It was the second language I learned. I actually learned Python first, which is why I like GD script so much. I learned, I think, in terms of like the kind of learning progression, it was like, you know, my dad did programming for a while, and actually still is a programmer. I don't know why I said that in past tense. I was like, hey, teach me how to program, and he was like, okay, yeah, I can do that. Here, write a C program. I was like, I have no idea what I'm looking at. Then I tried to do action scripts back when Flash was still a thing. And then still had no idea what I was doing. Then did Code Academy for Python 2. I was like, wow, this is just English. And then in school, learned Java, thought it was okay. It was mostly because they forced us to use like a really weird IDE, you know? I think in Java in school, the first one a lot of at least universities use, and I think also AP classes in the US, they force you to use BlueJ, which is like a visual editor for Java. Yeah, and then, you know, work used Gosu, which is a JVM language. It's absolute trash. Went to Java, went to Python, went to Golang. Did a lot of Angular debugging as well, which is just very painful. I think it was Angular JS, it wasn't even Angular. So Angular JS version 1. What is it? Failed to open script. So... interesting. File open is not okay. Okay, so data script. So this is what I have access to. Script. Model. Is that not present in that directory? First 2 semesters of CS courses were Python, the best language to language. Word, well, I'll probably lurk for a bit while I make dinner. Hey, fair enough. Fair enough. I'll be here working on whatever. I'm trying to get this to work because I need to refactor the UI stuff before I can basically call this done, because it's more or less done. Just a lot of bugs. That's okay. Let's see. I do like to rubber duck solutions, which is why I like streaming. So if I'm going to be talking to myself anyways, I might as well talk to myself live on the internet. So let's see. We're loading in the script. It is there in the same oh, you know what? No, it's not. It is absolutely not. So GUI parser. gives you this base path. But here I don't have the base path. So that's why it's broken. Okay, so let's just grab it from GUI parser. We'll just do like a raw string concatenation. I think. Probably. Yes. Oh no, this isn't gonna work. Oh no. Okay. So let me think. Yeah, anyways. Once again, do appreciate the raid. Always appreciate it. Let me think. I don't want to do this. I don't want to grab this base path. Or maybe I do. Using absolute path, so that almost implies that I can pass in like a different path. So I'm trying to avoid setting this base path here in the GUI, but I think that might just make more sense. Yeah. You know what? That does make more sense. What was I thinking? Let's just do this here. So, if we are in a release build, then we'll just search in the current executables directory for this resources folder and then GUI, and then the resources folder also contains our translation files. So, I think that's a pretty extensible way of doing things. So let's get rid of this. No init. Let's take care of everything that breaks after this. Yeah, so this is, we no longer have absolute path. Now we're always just passing in the absolute path. So, open a resource path, and now here we just need to pass in the correct base path. So we go bum bum bum. Yeah, a little bit of string concatenation here, or we can do string templating. Why not? Let's do a string template. Boom. Yeah, I mean that looks right? Yeah. Boom. 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 So string, and then there's already a closing bracket. Although I don't know if there should be. Let's get rid of the closing bracket, because it makes me uncomfortable seeing just two strings right next to each other. Which now that I've said that out loud, that sounds a bit prejudiced. But they're just strings, man. They're not real people. XML file. Boom, boom, boom. And then we'll do the same thing for this. Grab this. File open. Where is it? Here. File open, whatever this is. Remember to close it. There we go. So now this should work. We've restructured pretty much every part of this. So let's see. Invalid gets set index source code on base nil. Huh? What do you mean? Source code? Script is null. What do you mean? Am I not able to instantiate a script? Where are the errors? Oh, a script is not instantiable? Oh, that's a pain. How do I get a script if I... Set script. Assigns the script to the object. What if I do... That's a bit weird. That's a bit weird. Get script. So what happens if gets or null if none is assigned? All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna game the system. We're gonna game the system. Empty script. Inherits. Oh, actually, we don't want to create it here. We want to create it here in our GUI. So this is base view. Actually, it makes a good case for a base view having a script. Yeah, okay, so base view will always have a script, easy. We can guarantee that. So instead of doing script new, we're just going to grab base view dot script, get script, right? So that now that's our script. What's your problem? Assign value doesn't have a set type. Excuse me. Script. Then script code dot source code is file get as text, and then we just replace it. See? And that's how we will dynamically load in a script at runtime. Now it doesn't allow for any optimization, and also makes it really hard to debug, but you know, it do be like that sometimes. It do be like that. So if you look here, model, and then we can see, actually I wonder, is it actually doing anything, or is it just, or do I think it's just doing something? I don't know. So this is the script that I'm loading onto the object dynamically. I'm not sure if this is going to work. So let's hit it with a print hello. So the problem with doing things this way dynamically is that it's impossible to debug. That's fine. That's not really a huge priority right now. Although I should probably stop making bad design decisions. Oh, did it not load in? It did not load in. Interesting. Or did it not call its ready function? Is that it? So hold on. If we do this, we'll do base view request ready. So what I'm looking for is for a hello to print out in the console, and then I'll know it worked. Okay. All right, let's just manually call ready on it. Because I'm pretty sure request ready is like asking Godot to run, or it's like asking a Java program to run its garbage collector. It may or may not work. Non-existent function already in base control. So what if I do? This is super grimy. Base view get script source code. So we just print out the source code straight into the console, and then we can see if we actually set it. And then after that, we can start investigating ways in order to call ready. Oh my god, it totally worked. So ready doesn't work, but that's fine. As long as we can rename this to like setup. So we always just call the setup function afterwards, right? So we do base view setup, easy. And so as long as everything kind of follows that same, oh, you know what? It's this part. It's this part right here. I remember this. You need to do base view reload. Hey. All right, hold on. I've done this before. I just don't remember how I did it, as is often the case. Preprocessor GD. So let me see. Add-ons, preprocessor. We force a reload. Set scripts, object scripts, reload. Oh, you need to reload the script. Ah. So script, reload. Don't keep state, and then we. Oh, then we. I think setup will just work, or we can just do request ready again. We're really going off the rails here, as you can see. I don't. This is like super abusing GD script. This is not how you should be doing it. So let's see. Wait for it. Okay, just a few errors. Keep state already in use. Okay. So let's see. How did I do it here? I did object set script null. Okay. Did I duplicate it? I did not duplicate it. So, base view set script null. So just get rid of the reference. So now this is the only reference to it. I believe that'll work. This one we do get scripts, object scripts. Insert directives, we can ignore that. Then we set script null, reload the script, then set the script on the object again. Okay, let's see. Did that work? Maybe. Didn't appear to have worked, no. I mean, it probably set the script properly, right? So if we do setup, parsing error, that's fine. Then we call this setup. We should be able to call this on the script now. Yeah, as you can tell, this is kind of my version of programming, just trial and error until it works. Yeah, see, that worked. It's weird. It's definitely very weird. Since any of the setup functions actually happen like kind of really late in the process, if you think about it, right? So this is the loaded metadata part. Yeah. Loading metadata XML. Then a lot of this is just other stuff, like this is the main screen, that's the config manager, that's the VRM loader. Loading GUI. Wait, what? Oh. I actually don't know what order these all loaded in, but this one was definitely the last one. And it works, somewhat. Very strange. Yeah, I think one of the harder parts for this is I'm going to need to somehow pull out all of the signals I need to subscribe to here, right? So in order, so there's no like namespace clashing. I'm calling these events instead of signals, but these are signals, and you can see here that they're all present in this file. And it's really just kind of forwarding inputs over to the main signal manager, aka my app manager. So I'll need to. I'm not sure. But it is starting to get late. So let me push all of this to a branch. So UI refactor v3 get status. Git add all. Don't really know what the differences are. Git remove. Translations. Recursive. Git remove. Recursive. Git commit. Start. Rewrite. XML parser working. Git status. Git push. View. Origin. UI refactor v3. Oh baby. And yeah, of course, as always, you can find all of this code online in my GitHub if you you would like to check that out. And yeah, I think that's gonna be it for me for today. So thanks for tuning in. I'll be live tomorrow from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern time. Maybe working on this, maybe actually working on a game, I'm not sure. Probably this, since I think this UI thing has actually gotten pretty interesting. Yeah, UIs in Godot, lots of fun. But yeah, peep the socials, give me stars on GitHub. That's really all I want. Or you can join the Discord and we can chat about tech support stuff. So, anyways, I will catch you later. Goodbye.